Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler, Wes, and Chris along with you here on the game post-game show today. Going to be broadcasting live from Beer Keller at 600 Canal Side Street from 3 until 6. Go by and see Jay and Elijah out there. This tweet kind of went viral yesterday with Gamecock Twitter. This is from Gamecocks Today, which is a fan account. They asked the question, imagine you are chosen as the lead manager to develop the next series of renovations at Willy B. What is the first change that you would make to the stadium or the surrounding area? So you have free reign to do whatever you want to Willy B or the surrounding area. What would you guys choose to do?
Yeah, and should we ask people to hit us on the text line?
Yeah, if you have an idea, text line 803-404-6100. What would you change? Would you tear the whole thing down and start over again? Would you add, I don't know, Wi-Fi? Some people were asking for that. Ice in the trots is another popular thing, apparently. That seems kind of, I don't think you have to be on the renovation squad to make that happen, but
yeah,
a lot of ideas.
Shout out to my guy Gamecocks Today. That's my dude. I won't say his real name. I won't out him. I don't know if that's
got to stay anonymous.
I don't know if that's supposed to be out there or not, but
Docs.
My guy is very good at what he does. He does a lot of graphic.
My guy, redacted.
Does a lot of work for us on Gamecock Central as well. And so, yeah, you were talking about this before we got out of the break there, Tyler. Lots of realistic options there that people have said. But I think that does speak a little bit to, hey, you got to do everything you can. I think South Carolina's been trying to do this. You got to do everything you can to make that fan experience good enough that somebody wants to get off their couch and their 65-inch TV and their beer fridge and want to just come out and sit in the sun and watch football for 5 hours, basically, and sit through the red hat guy and all that, commercials and breaks in the game and stuff like that. So if I'm South Carolina, I'm reading these responses, honestly. What do fans want? And Wi-Fi actually is a huge ask for fans because they want to be able to check other games. They want to be able to check their bets, frankly. Mm-hmm. And they want to be able to, if there's another game. I watched somebody near me at a game last year watch the entire, who was it? Did Notre Dame and Ohio State play last year?
Yes, that was when Ryan Day yelled at Lou Holtz.
Yeah. Somebody watched the entire game beside me.
Where's Lou Holtz?
So I think those things are valid. I think the big thing for South Carolina, a lot of people talk about wanting to sort of close in the north end zone. Mm-hmm. And I don't think in today, like 15 years ago, that was really on the docket. Like you always heard that was maybe going to be a future part of the plans. These days, stadiums are getting smaller. Now there's been talk, of course, about the feasibility studies out there of can you add stuff around the stadium that could potentially provide some revenue to then turn around and beef up the stadium. So my answer would be, I think the best thing for Williams-Brice, best thing for the fans, could you eventually take out all the bleachers, go lower level, chairbacks, and then sort of close in the north end zone as well to make it, like you're going to lose a lot of seats if you go chairbacks in west, east, and south lower. Students can still have bleachers because they're going to just pack in there anyway. But then add basically, like connect the west and the east, like to the edges of the north, which is the student section, if y'all stick with me here. And then eventually maybe put some type of upper deck on the north side that would not make up for all the seats you lost by getting rid of the bleachers and going to chairback, but would even it out a little bit so that you're not Vandy.
Had to throw in the Vandy there. I go to, and I don't know, are y'all going to make fun of me if you're like, you picked every single thing, but I have 4 or 5 things in my mind.
If you have free reign, go for it.
And I'm just going off the ones that I hear the most from fans, but also some practical things. I actually and I know a lot of people have mentioned chairbacks and things like that. I'm going to kind of go away from that. I think one thing I've heard a lot, and this is both for revenue and some fans who have the means to do it would be interested, more suites, either upgrading the suites that are in existence or providing even more seating area. Now, you're removing seats from the stadium. You know, you're not going to have, they've already done that. So you might be going to 70-something thousand, whatever, you know. But more suites, more premium seating. I think bathrooms are always a hot button issue. Sometimes you get to the games, and to a degree this happens at a lot of places, but you can't even move on the concourse at certain points of a game in certain areas. It gets very congested. Can you find it? And I'm not an engineer. Solve that. Bathrooms, I think concessions could definitely be streamlined, maybe even have better pricing models. The Atlanta Falcons in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, they went to that with a lot of success from what I've seen.
They're kind of the standard when people talk about sports concessions now.
I think if you saw, and then even adding in Wi-Fi. So again, those are not, that's not how comfortable is your seat, unless you're in the premium seating, then it's very comfortable. But I just think adding some things to, if you're going to pay all the money to go to the game and spend the time and sit out in the hot, having some things where when you leave the game, you weren't like, man, I couldn't even walk on the concourse, or I just paid $12 for a hot dog, or whatever it may be.
So this doesn't go into the fan experience. Do they have a recruiting suite at Willy B as of right now?
They do.
Yeah.
Is it like a newer one, or is it one that could be renovated?
Basically, my understanding is that the old weight room kind of is now, I guess I haven't been in there, but they do have an area where they host the recruits that I think became a thing once they built the ops building, basically.
Okay, because I know when Georgia did their West End Zone project a couple years ago, a big portion of that was this new revamped recruiting suite, which, you know,
you can always upgrade.
Is that going to be the sole reason why somebody comes to your school? It's not, but giving them the best possible experience can go a long way. So I didn't know what South Carolina's looks like at this point in time.
I want to know what Chris has against chairbacks.
They just, no, I mean, hey, I love a chair back, especially now. Like, I'll go to a high school game now.
Lumbar support?
Like, yeah. I mean, you need some support. Like, those bleachers, those are rough. But they're just not as high on my priority list.
Are you the guy that brings the individual seat back yourself?
No, but I'm going to start too.
Yeah,
I'm
you're going to be that guy.
This year. Yeah.
I feel like they're, like, you could, that north, to me, the north end zone is your playground for, again, that's the student section end, for some really cool stuff you could do, building like around where the video board is or up above the video board, where you could potentially, like Chris is talking about, add some suites to that side, get creative with it. You know, you see some schools, I think you see this in baseball too, sort of the almost ground level suites and stuff. Maybe there's some things you could do in that area where currently the two sides do not match up. They don't connect with the north end zone.
A lot of y'all weighing in on the Firehouse Subs text line. We'll get to some of those thoughts as we wrap up today's edition of the show. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs on your Wednesday on the Game.